He stared at the 12 divine avatars and told himself this was power, that commanding others to die for you was proof you were born to rule. But beneath that pride, a thin thread of dread kept tugging, asking what kind of enemy makes gods take swords like nervous soldiers. Welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review, where the lantern light looks warm, but the wind behind it always smells like steel. Last time, A Liang fed green onions to the so-called experts who tried to surround him, smiling as if humiliation was just seasoning. Before leaving, he warned the young boys and girls with a few plain words, cool, careless, yet strangely heartfelt, like a blade wrapped in cloth. Now, in Sort of Coming To, Episode 6, the real storm finally rolls toward Dali's capital, because A Liang stops being patient. To speak of this night, it's best to begin from Dali, not from Hangzhou town, because A Liang is simply too strong. If he truly wished, one slash would be enough to split Baiyu Jing apart, and he wouldn't even need to step outside Hangzhou town. The moment A Liang removed the bamboo hat that suppressed his realm, he became one man, one blade, and a towering momentum marching at the capital. In the capital streets, people didn't know the details, but they felt it. Dogs stopped barking, shop banners hung still, and even the dust seemed afraid to rise. High above, the city's fortune pulsed through formations like veins, and every pulse whispered the same warning: someone is coming who does not fear kings. In Dali's capital, the former crown prince Song Jixin, now called Songmu, stood at the center of a massive protective formation. It hadn't been long, yet the teenager already looked sharper, heavier, like hardship had ground away softness and left only edge. In his chest, Songmu tasted bitterness ending, sweetness arriving, believing that after years of pain, the payoff had finally come. He raised his voice, clear and proud. I, Songmu, under Dali Emperor's command, order the 12 orthodox gods, guarding our mountain river fortune, receive swords and meet the enemy. Songmu's palms were sweating inside his sleeves, yet he refused to wipe them, because to show fear now would be to insult the throne he wanted. He stared at the 12 divine avatars and told himself this was power, that commanding others to die for you was proof you were born to rule. But beneath that pride, a thin thread of dread kept tugging, asking what kind of enemy makes gods take swords like nervous soldiers. The instant the words fell, 12 streams of light shot from the 12 towers of Baiyu Jing, splitting into 4 directions like meteors breaking formation. When the first stream of light landed, the jade towers rang softly, as if Baiyu Jing itself was praying that its own blades would not betray it. Those lights grew from thin threads into blazing rivers, then dropped into the hands of 12 colossal divine avatars, each one wearing a cold, golden dignity. A thunderous response rolled back, like heaven answering a drum. We accept the order. This man will not enter the capital. And when the 12 gods shouted their oath, the sound shook roof tiles, yet the echo carried a hint of uncertainty, like thunder that knows it may be answered. Songmu's eyes brightened. For the first time since returning, he felt not like a lost child, but like a ruler holding the reins of fate. He was satisfied, almost intoxicated, thinking every humiliation and suffering he endured was worth this single moment of commanding gods tonight in front of everyone. Since reclaiming his crown prince identity, he had already been named the next emperor, and the capital treated his future like a sealed document. But controlling Baiyu Jing was not supposed to happen yet. That was Song Zhengchun's plan, careful and slow, meant for a safer season. Under the name of compensation for a son's long suffering, Yu Nanzhen forced the succession forward, pushing Song Jixin into the furnace early. So the burden of mastering Baiyu Jing's 12 flying swords became a nightmare of training and trials, pain stacked on pain until the boy learned to endure. That was why Songmu now called this sweetness. His first true clash would be a national crisis, maybe even a continental one, against a suspected immortal-level threat. As for the 12 orthodox gods, the court's secret order delivered to them carried a different, calmer cruelty carved into imperial law. It said, hold the nation's heavy weapons, freely borrow state fortune, and with full force block a nascent soul cultivator suspected to be Jade Pouch realm. So they dared to speak boldly. After all, among the 12, none should surpass nascent soul realm by themselves alone. Back at Baiyu Jing, the direct shield beneath the capital was Dali's Grand Marshal, Changjing, and the one managing the National Protective Formation was the state preceptor, Cui Chan, watching like a cold scholar, counting deaths as numbers. The board was set. The pieces were placed. The air itself felt tightened, as if the capital had tied its breath into a knot. Then A Liang moved, no longer suppressing himself. He flew with thunderburst speed, making distance feel embarrassed, as the world folded beneath him to meet him sooner. The first obstacle was the Nanyue Orthodox god, holding a flying sword named Xianghuo, its aura smelling of incense and worship. A Liang's warning was simple. I only came for Dali's emperor. Everyone else, if you have sense, step aside, now. To the Nanyu god, that sounded like arrogance. Pride struck before wisdom could speak, and the god attacked first anyway. The result was immediate and brutal. Golden body cracked, divine light scattered, and the first Orthodox god lost his screen time in a single exchange. After the first golden body shattered, the remaining gods' eyes changed. They still stepped forward, but their hearts began counting exits. After that, the rhythm turned cruelly repetitive. Every short interval, another Orthodox god stepped forward, struck and vanished, like someone taking the paycheck and going home to sleep. One by one, their golden bodies shattered under A Liang's blade intent, as if faith-made statues were being smashed by a casual hand. In total, 6 Orthodox gods broke their golden bodies in that collision, and the capital's confidence began to taste like ash. Each shattered god left behind falling sparks that smelled like burnt incense, the scent of worship turning into ash the moment it met. A Liang's blade intent. Meanwhile, near the emperor's side, a man Song Zhengchun called Mr. Lu stood quietly, using Wangqi Shu to observe the battlefield. Mr. Lu's pupils tightened under Wangqi Shu. What he saw was not merely a man, but a destiny line sharpening in mid-air. That line rose like a tide climbing a cliff, swelling higher the closer A Liang came, as if the capital itself was feeding him. Wangqi Shu was not merely a method to see far. It was a divine-like perception usually belonging to gods, though rare humans could learn it. To cultivate it required extreme talent, strict methods, and secret lineages, so secret that only a handful of families in the world even knew the path. Its deeper use was more than vision, but for now Mr. Lu's face turned paler with every breath he watched. Because the nearer A Liang came to the capital, the faster A Liang's realm climbed, like a tide surging up a cliff with no place to stop. By the time the 6th Orthodox god shattered, A Liang's aura was openly Faisheng realm, so vast it made the capital's towers feel small. Mr. Lu could only shake his head, helpless and awed, and mutter the truth in one bitter line, "I'm scared of you." Then he issued an order to the remaining Orthodox gods, yield, make way, preserve what can still be preserved now. Those gods looked as if they had been granted an amnesty. They immediately shifted aside, opening a straight road toward the capital. A Liang was still not satisfied. He almost wanted to slash a few more times. Warm-up tastes good when your blade is hungry. But he remembered there was something more important than venting strength. So he spared the remaining gods their lives for now. The road opened wide, and something even stranger followed. As if the capital itself had decided to stop resisting today. Even the National Protective Formation guarding the capital was lifted for no explained reason, like a door unlocking itself before it was kicked. When the National Formation lifted, even Qi Chan's fingers paused mid-seal, as if someone off-stage had cut the strings and forced the capital to bare its throat. A Liang surged forward, straight toward Baiyu Jing, the white jade towers that held Dali's pride like a crown today. At the threshold, he changed weapons, swapping his worn bamboo saber for the narrow saber, Tiofu he had borrowed from Li Baping. He raised it and shouted upward, "5 of you up there, who is Dali's emperor? Get down here, kneel and admit your fault. I'll count to 10. But A Liang played dirty, his counting skipped like a mischievous demon, dropping straight to 1, and he slashed at Baiyu Jing itself. The capital's air screamed. Fortune trembled. The towers shivered as if the city's luck had just been gripped by the throat. Changjing stepped forward to block, because behind him stood his imperial brother, and a marshal's spine exists for this exact moment. He had prepared for a long battle, 300 exchanges, buying time with blood, holding the line with a 10th realm body. A Liang needed only one strike. One flash nearly made the 10th realm Grand Marshal log out of life on the spot, death brushing his ribs like cold wind. Song Changjing's boots scraped backward, blood warmth spreading under armor, and for a brief instant, he wondered if this was how true despair tasted. Had he followed with another slash, heaven couldn't have saved Song Changjing. Yet, A Liang paused, acknowledging valor, the martial spine that stands upright even when a mountain is falling. At the critical moment, Luan Changye arrived to rescue, catching Song Changjing's life before it snapped, dragging him back from the edge. The moment Luan Changye appeared, he urged A Liang to stop and not destroy Baiyu Jing, speaking fast, careful, like someone bargaining with thunder. He used Qi Jingchun as his shield, because certain names are heavier than swords, and A Liang could not pretend otherwise. Luan Changye smiled like a merchant, spine cold, knowing one wrong word would invite a slash that rewrites history there. Like an old fox, Luan Changye even bragged that Qi Jingchun had once advised the grand construction of Baiyu Jing. A Liang knew the man was speaking nonsense, but he still sheathed his blade, because slaughter was never his true purpose here. A Liang's purpose was simple and heavy, to see whether the place Qi Jingchun poured his heart into was worthy of that heart. Because when Qi Jingchun had been pushed into a dead end, Dali's behavior had been ugly, cold, calculating, and deserving of the word ungrateful. If A Liang wanted, he could have crushed Song Changjing, flattened Baiyu Jing, and reclaimed every ounce of Qi Jingchun's effort invested in Dali. But he did not. That restraint was terrifying, because it meant he was choosing his punishment with clear eyes, not merely raging. Only after A Liang returned his saber to its sheath did the Emperor Song Zhengchun finally step forward from behind the formation's shadows. Song Zhengchun stepped out, face controlled as if rehearsed for death. A Liang drew and pressed the blade to his throat, steel kissing skin, and the tower forgot to breathe. Song Zhengchun looked ready to welcome the scythe until Cui Chan, the state preceptor, revealed himself like a cold page turning. Cui Chan spoke calmly, each word weighted like stone, asking A Liang to spare the emperor. Hearing this, A Liang's grin faded. His eyes darkened, like a man suddenly remembering an old promise he refused to betray. When Cui Chan mentioned Qi Jingchun, even the wind in the tower seemed to slow, because that name carried more weight. He said Qi Jingchun's later half-life, his true heart work, had been placed into Dali's dynasty, not into any single man's throne. Qi Jingchun hoped Dali could walk a different road, so he chose the children of Longquan County, betting on their future. Slowly, A Liang lowered the blade and spared Song Zhengchun, but the asking the sword visit revealed too much. Great figures in the heavens grew hot-eyed, their attention dropping like sharpened stars. A Liang handed the saber back to Song Changjing and told him to return it to Li Baoping, because borrowed blades should return to the hands that trusted. A Liang stretched, lifted his head, and laughed upward with fearless ease, not madness, but refusal to be judged by anyone who hadn't walked through the same cold years. Gentlemen, he called, will it be profound Buddhist law or lofty Taoist art? Either way, let A Liang fight you first, then we can talk. In the next breath, his cultivation erupted to the peak of the 13th realm, a pillar of radiant light. That light cracked the Tianmu canopy of Haran Tiansha, tearing open the world's ceiling, as if heaven were only a curtain. A Liang flew beyond the sky toward the outermost heights, seeking the true undefeated, hungry for a battle that satisfies both blade and heart. Before leaving Haran Tiansha, he made one final move toward Dali, turning his head back as if finishing an unfinished sentence. He broke Song Zhengchun's Changsheng, severing the emperor's path to cultivation and stripping him of the qualification to pursue the Tao. Then he transferred the remaining 6 flying swords of Baiyu Jing to sword cultivators at Jianqi Changsheng, shifting power with one casual decision. And as the sky closed behind him, the capital was left trembling, half awe, half terror, half silence, unable to decide whether it had been punished or spared. After this, Chen Ping'an, Li Baoping, and the others step into the next chapter, carrying fear and hope like twin weights on their shoulders. A new side quest opens, the bride ghost in wedding dress, waiting like red silk in thick fog, ready to swallow the careless. More legendary figures would appear, one after another, as if the world finally decided the children were ready to meet its real monsters. For now, remember the final taste of episode 6, the way the air stayed sharp long after the blade returned to its sheath. A Liang walked into a capital, shattered gods, shook towers, spared a ruler, and tore open the sky, yet looked like he was merely running errands. That is the kind of man who makes dynasties rethink their pride, and a story that makes you feel down to the bone. The next storm will be louder.